In this episode of Banterpreneurs, we unpack the complicated relationship we have with technology and the effect it has on our connection with the real world.
Lindsay reveals her disturbing relationship with Poirot.
And our expert Luke Cook enlightens us with the concept of looking up.
Solopreneurs, come on down! Unpacking all your business woes on the go. Your queens of business banter, Laura and Lindsay. You're in for a hilarious half hour of unconventional, unpredictable, unadulterated solopreneur shenanigans, jam-packed with pearls of wisdom and actionable aha moments. Let's get ready to banter!
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Banterpreneurs. She is Lindsay. She is a creativity coach, an improv teacher, and she has a massive obsession with English crime TV, to the point where I think it might be taking over her life, actually.
Very true. I checked my phone the other day. Apparently, I'd been watching Poirot for 18 hours this week. So that's all I've got to say.
Oh, my God. That's going to...
I've cut it down. I've cut it down. That was the week before. So now it's 10 hours. I got it down to 10 hours in the week.
Wow.
So that's pretty good. But to be fair, they're long episodes. That's all I'm...
That's not to be fair, but anyway.
All right. As you know, guys, she is Laura. She is a performance coach. She's an amazing speaker. And she made a last-minute decision to get rid of her top knot.
Oh, that's true. I didn't feel like it was befitting of the image, the professionof image that I've tried to convey all these years. So you got a quiff now. You're welcome.
Yes, it's lovely. It looks great.
And of course, I wanted to look nice for our special guest today.
Our special guest.
I know, Mr. Luke Cook, or Cookie, as he's fondly known. Here's his face. Here he is.
Yay!
Special guest. I'm so glad you got rid of the top knot.
Yay!
And Lindsay, we've got a bit of talking to do about your screen obsession today.
I know. Is that not like an awesome segue into what we want to talk about today?
It is a segue, but I want him introduced first.
I know.
He came up too early. All right, introduce him.
Everyone, Cookie. This is Cookie. He's so excited to be on here. He is the founder of Cuppa TV. He is a master conversationalist. Try and say that after a couple of bevies. And speaking of, he promotes having a cuppa, but what you might not know is that his cuppa is usually full of vodka. That's why he's always happy.
We've got to get through the day somehow.
Exactly.
It might have been why I jumped the gun as well and popped on early. You gave me one thing to do and I still stopped. But anyway, whatever. Let's roll with the punches.
That's the beauty of this podcast.
This is it.
Anything
It's comedy
goes.
gold, man. Come on.
It's great.
That's it. Yeah.
I could have gone up at the screen like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Extreme close up. What were you saying about Wayne's World? Extreme close up.
Yeah, extreme close up. At least you didn't, lift the head and give us the nose shot. That's always a good one.
The show's still early.
So thank you for being here and joining us from your lovely cafe.
Beautiful.
We were discussing earlier, I'm annoyed though, because the cafe charges more for alternative milks.
Only for you, Laura.
I feel like that's discrimination, But actually, I feel like our esteemed friend here, Lindsay, has happened upon an excellent segue into what we want to talk about today. So as we have said, Cookie, so formal, aren't I? Cookie.
Go rid of the top knot. Look what happens. Okay, he's just gone completely formal now.
It's like that dude. Is it Samson when he cuts his hair? He loses all his power. Yeah. My top knot is my power.
Oh no, is it David? I don't know. Something
like that. Anyway, Cookie is all about the conversation, changing lives one conversation at a time, and the power of a conversation. I could bang on about that for ages because it really is some powerful shit.
True.
But we were talking about how technology has impacted these conversations and connecting with people. And whether you knew it or not, Lindsay, admitting that you spent 18 hours watching Poirot, I think is a great way to kick off the impact of technology.
Look at that disapproval from my guests already. Look at that.
And I want to state that I'm no...
you in the room and you just disapprove.
Well, Lindsay, I'm not perfect either, right? Like I know that even my social media and screens, like I spend way too much time on it. It's because we become addicted to the bloody suckers. And
True.
it's one of those things that at least you know how many hours you're consuming. Whilst most people wouldn't even know from a bar of soap how they like how much they're actually taking in, and it's just it's constantly playing on my mind because there's so many things in this world that we're living in that is becoming harder for people to really grasp, like around mental health and all these other different angles. But what role is technology having on that? And the flip side, how good is technology in many different ways as well? So we can't. Yeah, we just got to know the better of the evils. That's it.
Well, that's what we're going to unpack today is what are the evils and which ones are better. And can I just tell you, because I know I did this with Cookie before, and I would encourage everyone to do it, is to look at the screen time on your phone. I know you get people to do this, don't you?
Yep. That's how I know.
But can I just tell you, I was having a look yesterday in my one preparation for today, and for some reason I spent an hour and like 8 minutes on my clock.
What? Is that the time? Yeah, what?
You're wasting an hour and 8 minutes just looking at a clock.
Yeah.
That's the best. That is comedy gold.
How that happened.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like like it's like one of those moments where you're like, what do you do with it? Like you just look at it.
I know. I don't know what happened. I'll be more mindful now of what I'm doing with my clock, I guess. But yeah, I would encourage everyone, do that. Get on your phone, however you can do it. Because I know Lindsay is an Apple hater.
Well, I wouldn't say hater, but Android for me. Thanks.
But you can look at your screen time. Is that a capability of Android?
Well, that's
I
how
know
I
they're a bit behind Apple,
about Poirot. That's how I know about Poirot. And may I just say, in my defense, that it has gone down by 8 hours. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, in a week.
That is good. So get on and have a look because it's super interesting, isn't it? And
you go to settings and you look at your screen time, and what I encourage people to do is group the stuff that is where you're probably flicking a lot, like the quick screen. So the social media, look at what you're spending on social media initially, and just see that, just acknowledge it, understand it, and then just work out how much time we actually spend. I'll give you a stat: 17.5%, 17.5 years of our life, our waking life, is spent on a mobile phone.
Holy
17.5
moly!
What?
5.5 hours a day on average. Now, that's everything on your phone. That's mobile calls, that's emails, that's social media. But then breaking that down, 5.5 hours a day is what we traditionally spend. That's still a lot. That's a quarter of
that
our...
is.
Yeah. And then 1.75 hours is the Australian average on social media. Now, obviously, that's the oldies bringing that down slightly, and the youngies are probably a lot higher than that. But there's some stats just to throw in the mix to kick off the show. What do you reckon?
Well, thank you very much. That's probably the only
bang man.
They call me the stat man.
So herein lies the challenge, right? So how do we then understand what's the evil and what's the good in that? Because all of us have businesses. We all have to use social media for businesses. So how can we then figure out where that time is going on social media? We kind of need them to break it down a bit more for us based on, I don't know, they can tell us, they know everything about us.
Well, there's parts of that. I think the biggest thing is like when we get 5 minutes, what do we do?
Yes.
Like it's if we're thinking about business owners, we spend so much time on screen that, sometimes there's a benefit of looking up for that 5 minutes and going for a walk or taking that deep breath. It's those moments that I think it's where we spend those micro gaps of time, not the ones where we're posting on social for our business. That might take 10 minutes. Well, for me, it might take 20. But
I was just going to say,
that reel of me doing that is next level. Eye clicks. But it's of course those moments are going to be longer chunks. It's the micro bits that are probably the biggest of concern, I reckon.
Can I ask a philosophical question then in this?
Go ahead, caller.
So then if it's about, I've got 5 minutes, I've got to look at my phone, or I'm out and I'm alone, I've got to look at my phone. I'm in a restaurant, I've got to look at my phone, or whatever that is. I'm in a relationship, I've got to look at my phone. Is it coming back down to that sort of philosophical conundrum about, you know, all of people's problems come from the inability to sit alone in a room on their own? So that kind of, is there something around that philosophy that's happening here, do you think?
I think so, because what's happening is we have become so addicted by quick dopamine hits. And we're like a walking freaking poker machine at the moment in life, you know, like it's what do we have to see next? Where's that red dot? What's going on? Like what's happening now? It means that and this comes to the bigger, broader conversation today, it means that our ability to be able to sit and just be in whatever moment we're in is becoming less. We always have to find the next good thing or the next thing that happened, the good, the bad, the big, the small, whatever it may be. We're so addicted to information, like getting that moment, and that's impacting everything, I believe, in a good, like primarily, I think in a bad way in the future. But you know, right now, you know, it can help us with business. It can do a whole bunch of other different things. But as a society, is that where we're heading, and is that a good thing? I'm saying no.
And I'm saying no. And can I please take this opportunity, this moment, to have my rant about my husband, please?
Go ahead. I thought that's why you set up this conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just a large segue into my therapy session. Because he basically is the poster child for everything that you just said, Luke. Like, he cannot leave his frigging phone alone. I can't tell you how many arguments we have about it. Yes, he has to be on his phone for his business. I get that. And I'm always saying to him, work hard for sure, but then you have to take, and I really like how you just put that about the micro moments, look up. Like, I'm going to say that to him. I think I'm going to use that as the trigger for him. Look up. Maybe I won't be standing directly in front of him.
Can I just show you something that you're talking about right there? This is on my home screen, right? Funnily enough, I've got the clock up the top. But that's my home screen. Where there's but Apple is smart. So
stop yourself. Now, look, the thing, he's starting a rivalry. So the thing is, for people who can't see this, it says look up.
It says look up.
For people that can't see this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're on a podcast.
Oh, that's right. We're on a podcast. So my homepage of my phone says look up, and all the other apps are over the other next page. So if I flick across, all my apps are there. But Apple are smart because they remember what page you're on, so it doesn't actually necessarily help unless you're over there all the time.
They're enabling you.
But for me, it was that moment of going, look up. Okay, do I actually need to be on my phone right now, or do I look up? And it does work. It does work when I'm on that screen.
Wow.
Because you need those little triggers, don't you? And then just further to what you were saying, another topic of discussion, shall we say, with my husband is exactly what you're saying about how he is always looking for big moments and not enjoying the process and things. It's always about the outcome and the end result, which of course you need to know. You need to know where you're going, but he doesn't enjoy the little things along the way. And I believe, I mean, that is also his personality. It's very black and white, but I do believe that his addiction to technology is exacerbating that. That was a good therapy session. Thank you.
Got that out?
Ding, ding, ding.
Look, the thing is, he's got to get his shit together, man, because, you know, you're about to have another person in the world, and if you miss those moments, you know what I mean? They are the moments. They're the ones that most people go, oh, I should have paid more attention when they first spoke, when they first walked, when they, you know, Well,
tell us about that, Cookie, because you're going
to experience, like, I'm going to say this again. I am very much like, I am a lot like your husband. I still find myself just those little moments just grabbing the phone, but that's how addicted we are to these things, right? Then when you bring in kids into the conversation and into the world, how they understand what you do on a mobile phone at such a young age is scary.
Yes.
My daughter will come in and she'll go straight to the mobile, or like, and because she sees daddy on it all the time.
Yeah.
My little daughter brought in her little laptop the other day and sat next to me because she sees me on the laptop a lot. Like, this is, it's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute, but it's scary.
It's cute.
I saw someone post on social media that someone's kid had brought home a thing, like where they draw, a drawing. And
It's not a screen. Like you can't sort of touch it. You can't move it.
I think
like
they
this
use
thing.
This thing called like a pencil. I think they use
from a tree, a paper. Yeah.
And it said, "What is Daddy's hobby?" And it said, "Daddy's hobby is his phone." And they'd drawn a mobile phone. And I showed that to my husband, and I was like, "That is not going to be you.
Yeah,
I will beat you within an inch of your life before that happens." But it's difficult, isn't it? Because they are such an integral part of our lives. So it's about, I guess, teaching kids somehow about those micro moments and about, yes, this is essential. However, it's not, there are bigger things in the world, right, that are more important.
But again, how do you teach kids? They don't do what you say. They
learn
do
by what
do.
they see. Yeah, exactly.
It's insidious.
That might be a bit much for us all to figure out at this moment in time.
It's a big thing. It's a huge thing.
We're not going to get rid of technology, right? It's here. Like you got all these new advancements coming through with ChatGPT and I don't know, like all these like AI, like virtual worlds. It's not going to go away.
Yeah.
What we consume within it is something that we can change. So
yes.
I interviewed this lady by the name of Jocelyn Brewer, and she calls it digital nutrition. And you've got virtual junk and digital nutrients or something like that, she calls it. And it's what we're looking at. It's what we may be communicating around it. Like, are you watching content that's improving the way that you learn? That's good content.
Okay, what about Poirot, man? Like I'm learning how to solve murders. I mean, that's cool, right?
Well, I'll give you a call if anything happens around our streets. But you know, like if someone,
can you call Lindsay? She watches a lot of Poirot. I think she's all over this. I think she's gonna.
You cops have got no idea. I'll call in the big guns. But it's what you're consuming, and I think that's where the focus of the attention needs to go. Not necessarily even how much we're consuming, is what we're consuming. And then, if you're a parent in particular, it's how do you start drawing conversations around what your kids are interested in and connecting with them that way instead of telling them to put away the mobile phone. You know what I mean? Like, it's asking them the questions and involving in your world, in their world, and asking the right questions so you can, just be with them instead of telling them stop it or that type of stuff, because that's not helping either.
No, and that's not fun for anyone, is it? And I think that's probably a nice point that people could possibly use to start changing their habits, is asking questions. Like you said before, when you look at your phone and it says look up, you say to yourself, do I need to be on the phone right now, or can I go and do something else? So I think that's probably a really nice, easy way for people to just start becoming more aware, because we do a lot of this subconsciously now, right? Just saying, do I need to be on my phone right now? Could I be having a conversation right now? Could I be, doing a drawing right now or whatever,
I'll tell you now. Do I actually get this pen? What do I do with it? Pencil. A nice, interesting point, though, is now that we're so addicted to technology, each one of us, like love languages, right? Everyone's got about love languages. We've now got our connection language. Like, how does Laura like to be communicated these days versus what Luke likes to be communicated? Because Laura is she bang on WhatsApp? So the best way to get a hold of her is on WhatsApp. Well, Cookie, pick up the phone and have a conversation with him, or Instagram stories, or Slack channels, or emails, so all of a sudden we've got all these tentacles going out that no one knows how to bloody communicate with anyone anymore. I can call 20 people. I'll be very lucky to even get maybe 3 or 4 people to actually pick up their phone.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true. I've got friends that won't even want to have a conversation with me as a friend, not even in a business scenario. Yeah. They'd rather have a text message conversation.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, but it's funny. Okay, in defense, I'm gonna say,
Lindsay,
he's busy watching Poirot.
Yeah, not always. Okay, sometimes it's Miss Marple. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so no, look, this is the thing. Okay, in the 80s, all right, if the phone rang, right, and you needed to get a hold of me, and you didn't get me, right, and you didn't even get an answering machine, that's it. You just got to deal with that shit. Now you're after me on text, you're after me on WhatsApp, you're after me on email, you're after me on this and this and this and this. So for me, it's kind of like I know that they're going to find me sooner or later. So I don't need to answer this call out right now. Okay.
You're just going to make them work for it.
We're gonna have a little bit of a argument in a second. Keep going, Lindsay.
Go. Oh, yay.
Yeah. So on, devil's advocate, I'm like, I really have time now to be able to decide who I speak to and who I don't speak to. Whereas I was sort of around in a time when if the phone rang, like whoever that is, whether it's an obscene caller, you're answering that phone, right?
That's true.
Now you have sort of power. And that power's gotten to me, Cookie.
Well, no, because
right?
you could have answered it as a foreigner and gone, no, me not speak English.
That's an old one.
That was the way
That's an old
we
one.
could get out of it.
Can I ask you, Lindsay, do you at least acknowledge that person and their communication versus just letting it go through to keeper?
What the hell's keeper? What?
Sorry, I just went with a sports analogy. All right, over the top. No,
your
what
audience, Cookie.
Yeah, come on, mate. Yeah, Poirot, okay?
Yeah, no, I get you. But do you acknowledge everyone that calls, or do you just let it go through to voicemail?
I don't know. I let it go through to voicemail, and if they don't leave a message, it's not that important. I'm sorry. Leave a message. I know it's important. I will get back to you. But you don't leave a message. Unless you've just been run through with a knife, okay, and that's why you didn't leave a message.
But you won't know, I guess, if you don't acknowledge it.
Laura, ding, 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 ding.
What was it? I didn't hear it.
We just mind melded. You won't know.
You
won't know if they're bleeding profusely unless you acknowledge their communication.
Yeah, totally. But that's usually what will happen is they didn't leave a message. There's somebody in particular I'm thinking about, and I know this person. And I'll go, so I'll wait, and then I'll text back and go, "Are you okay?" Oh yeah. Just wanted to it's fine.
That's okay. That's good. That's good.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't have any issue, Lindsay. Then it's good. It's as long. What I get the issue with is when people don't acknowledge the phone call coming through, because you may actually not know what's going on the other side.
No, I'd never do that.
Yeah.
I would never do that. But in saying that, if you're not leaving a message, then I'm waiting. And then if I don't hear a text or something, I'm like, okay, are you okay? But,
do you have a preferred way to be communicated though, Lindsay? Like, do you rather phone calls? Do you like text messages? Like, do you have a preferred?
Yeah, true. Interesting, because when I was a kid, I was on the phone. I reckon I was on the phone more than Poirot. You know what I mean? Like, I was on the phone all the time. I loved talking to people on the phone, whatever, in the 80s, 90s, whatever. But that was all I had. Whereas now, I think mostly I'm a text person.
Okay.
I would say mostly if you text me, you'll get me. You'll get me. And I'm going to be really honest here too. I like WhatsApp because I can see if someone's seen the message.
I was just going to say that but it's not good if you want to know what they said, but you don't want them to know that you've looked at the message yet.
Totally.
Or it's really good if you want to be passive aggressive with your husband and you can look at the message and then not reply.
Answer. Yeah, totally.
So can I ask about the business sense then? Like, because we've got entrepreneurs and all that trying to make their best in their own businesses, yet when people don't communicate back with them, makes it very frustrating, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, business-wise, email is how I work with email. I don't have my personal phone on anything because I'm not doing personal and business together. I'm not doing it.
Really good.
So email is business, but for my sort of membership, that's all on Messenger. So that everybody has a community, they can talk to each other and everything. And then and it's awesome now because it's to the point where if I put up an event and then somebody goes, "What time is it?" and it says what time it is, right? Someone else will come in and go, "Oh, it's at this time." So I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Yeah.
And I think that sort of brings around the community aspect as well, which I think we probably need to bring into this. Like, I think the technology can be good for creating communities that wouldn't have existed otherwise. Like Lindsay and Cookie and I, we've only ever met once in person, I think, once or twice. So, none of us, would ever have met if it wasn't for the technology. But then we also have to flip it over and look at real life and look at, are we still nurturing our physical communities around us? Because there is stuff that you can only get, I think, physically in person, that you can't get online. So again, it's that, I don't know if juxtaposition is the right word. It's like, it's great. We are meeting people and connecting in ways that we wouldn't have before, but are we compromising real life stuff as a result?
And are we doing it? Yeah, exactly, in the meaningful way. Like, even though you might like to be communicating via text message, you lose a lot without, like, you can't really get to the depths of conversations when you're just communicating in one word or one sentence answers, just to get things to the point, get it out, get the message across. Yeah, you know, how much substance are we actually wanting these days versus how much substance do we actually need in the community at the moment, because of many different areas that are continuously becoming very challenging around sort of mental health and domestic violence and all these other areas. Like, you don't know what's underneath the hood sometimes. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. I was reading earlier, I don't know how I came across this, but about a study that was done with kids. There was one group, like two groups. One was a control group, and they went to a summer camp. And so the non-control group weren't allowed their phones. And they found after 5 days, essentially they were looking at empathy. So their empathy had increased a lot compared to the control group who still had their phones, because they were looking up. They were actually then learning people's facial expressions in response to things. And they were really starting to be able to put themselves in other people's shoes. So then they were getting better understanding of each other and connecting better. And I think, like, empathy is a big, big thing for me. And I think it's diminishing. I think we don't have enough understanding of each other, and therefore we're not connecting properly. And I think this is a big thing as well, because we're not having those interactions to be able to understand those cues and be able to judge responses and get to understand what they all mean.
It's fundamentally why we're here as humans, right?
Yeah.
We belong in tribes, you know, and tribes that, you know, are connected through community and connection and sitting next to each other. And, you know, like, I've been very fortunate to interview hundreds of people, and the ones that stand out to me are, you know, the Indigenous communities out there that still believe in storytelling, that still believe in walking barefooted in nature and just being around what is true, what is real. You know, unfortunately, with what we see in technology, and it's even getting worse with AI and, like I said, these virtual worlds. What is real?
Absolutely.
We're creating a new real that, you know, is it good for us in the long run? Versus, is it good for us right now?
Yeah, and I think what you said is the key. Is you got to keep looking up regularly so you can keep one foot in either camp.
Definitely.
Basically, because we've got to go with the tech. We have to. Particularly with our businesses. But actually all of our businesses are around connecting and helping people live better lives and be happier. And so we can't purely be tech. We have to still have these fundamental principles and ideas of how you can connect as humans. Otherwise, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to somebody last night, and she's working with, she's a physiotherapist, but she's working with virtual stuff as well. So people are coming through and they're able to do their practical virtually first, so that when they get into the real world, they kind of feel like they know what they're doing.
Can I just say, I thought you meant that she was a physiotherapist for robots then. And I was like, that's well cool.
Yeah, I don't think robots need it because they're so like amazing, but yeah.
One day.
But the interesting thing was, she was talking about teaching at uni, and she was teaching people on Zoom and stuff. And she was talking about how she couldn't even get people to turn their cameras on. And I was like, that shit don't fly in my class. You know what I mean? Like, this is the problem, that I think people have lowered what they should be doing online as well. For me, on Zoom, you should be, especially as a teacher as well, always connecting with every single person in the room, watching all of their cues, their physical cues, their facial expressions. And I think that, you know, just because it's online, people get lazy. They really, really get lazy, and they don't go for empathy.
They don't have their camera on because they're not focusing on you.
Yes.
Or they don't want people to see their top knot.
Exactly.
They've got something else going on that is...
Yes, it's this.
Yeah, it's something else. Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, people who can't see, I was just pretending I had a phone, even though it's a real phone. There's a real phone next to me. But I, as an improv...
She's the improv queen.
I improvised a phone. I've just got a phone in my hand, right? So there's that side of the equation too. This shit's not going away, right? But how do we, like, impose empathy in some way into this digital place as well? This is
That's
what
an
I feel.
interesting question.
Yeah, I think that people are just accepting mediocre, to be honest, when it comes to connection online.
I was going to say, I refer you back to my marriage. I'm joking.
The mic drop. Yeah.
And I just want to sort of slightly going back, but it came into my mind. I forgot to say it about small business owners. That's who's listening to our podcast, and this whole idea of community and connection. And, you know, we would all see that a lot of mental health challenges, not necessarily depression, anxiety, but just not operating at your optimum, happens within the small business community because we are doing things solo. We don't have strong connections. Quite often we shy away, I think, from the connections because we don't want people to really know what's going on. Maybe we're not as busy as we want people to think, or not as successful as we want people to think. And so we're then sort of pulling away further so that we can maintain the image that we're putting out there in technology. And so we're just exacerbating the situation. I guess we're coming back to this whole authenticity thing, which it always seems to come back to that. Talk, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, Cookie, do you reckon that's the case as well, that it's kind of like we're so used to putting up appearances online, and online is for, this is my ideal me, this is that the realness maybe isn't there so much?
Of course it is.
Is that a possibility?
No, it is. It definitely is. We want the world to feel like we've got our shit in order when traditionally we don't. And you know, unfortunately, the you know, especially small business owners, you know, we want to keep that face because we want to make sure that people feel like our business is in good shape. Yet our business controls every aspect of our life. It controls our family and it controls all areas of it. So yes, the face value stuff is definitely a concern for everyone out there, because again, you see people at face value. How many times do you get someone coming to you and going, "Oh, Cookie, your business is flying," or "Your business is going really well." I'm fucking going around in circles with my leg tied like a duck on the water, with my leg tied with a fishing line, and I'm lucky to keep my head above water. But no, it's going great.
It's going
amazing. But did anyone pick up the phone to go, "Cookie, I just want to ask you, like, how is the business going, really?" Or I understand how tough it is in what you're doing. Just know that I'm here if you need me. Like, where are those moments happening more in our lives as a society, but also as business owners? You've got to galvanize around those people that are trying to do good and taking a risk and putting out their neck in something that they believe in. You know, I say it all the time in my community. Like, the people that have backed me and my business aren't my friends. They've been external people that have fallen in love with the story. I love my friends, but I could count a handful. I could count 5, maybe 6 that have actually gone deeper with me on it. Other people are just the superficials because they see it. They see you on your social channels. They see you pushing things, but which ones are actually committed to you?
And what
who your friends are. I'm very intrigued by it all.
That was going to be my question. Do you think the reason for that, and it might be both, is because I don't know that they wouldn't be interested, but that, you know, maybe they just don't get it, or they don't have the time or whatever to want to get it? Or do you think they're intimidated by what they think you've achieved, and so then they feel like they're not doing as well?
It's probably a mixture of all things, Laura, in all honesty. Like, it took me a long time to get over it. I'm over it. I don't care now.
Fucking mate,
it is what it is. It took me a long time to go, well, why couldn't you introduce me to that person when I asked? Or you know, like there's those little moments that played on my mind a lot, where I'm saying, you know, this is giving, you know, your friend an opportunity. But you know, I more look at it now of, you know, those people in your world. They could be a mother of a new child. They could be anything. Anyone who's going through a stage where it's a life career stage, you see it. Well, call in and ask the question around it. Like, just check in, or just send them a text going, "You're doing an amazing fucking job. I just want you to know that." You know, like, where are those moments?
Yeah.
We need to be doing that more often. I think that's where
100%.
we don't have to do the phone calls, Lindsay, to you're watching something, like it could be just those little moments of acknowledgement and just saying, I know how hard it is. I just want to let you know that from my side, it looks like you're doing an amazing job. God, that feels good.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
Can
it does.
everyone who's listening or watching now, please do that?
Yeah,
do that for one person.
Yeah.
It's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like how much, this is going to sound well wanky now, but how much love would be put out into the world by everyone just doing that to one person?
100%.
Even do the voice messages, like you do your
voice
messages. Just go, hey, I just wanted to know right here, right now. I was just thinking of you. I just wanted to pass on that you're doing an amazing job. Send it in an email. Send a bloody letter. Send a card. Like
what?
That thing with the pencil stuff.
That's right, that thing.
Draw on a picture.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. But can you edit it and stuff? Like can you paste on it and that? Or what? Oh my god.
And also, in addition to that, so I think that is a very powerful thing and a great way. Again, it's a simple thing to start building habits. But what I was thinking while you were talking as well is, herein lies the power of a conversation, because people they don't necessarily say exactly what they're thinking. Look, I'm sorry, Cookie, I can't introduce you to that person because, I got too much shit going on, or actually I don't know them as well as you might think I do, and it's a bit awkward. Or like if we all just kind of said a little bit more what we actually think and what's really going on, I think we'd all be in a better position.
I'd move on 2 seconds, but I don't move on because it sits ruminating because no one's even connected or communicated back to you about why.
Yeah.
Look, I'm too busy. I can't do it right now. Maybe reach out in 3 months, and if I've got capacity, that's fine. Give me, communicate. It's communication. Yes. At the end of the day, it's the power of what communication can do to do anything. I live on the breath of one conversation. One conversation can change your day. It can change your perspective.
100%.
It can change your life. You can create a new idea. You can find a new business partner. You can find a new partner. You can. It's those one moments that. It's not about everything. We've got so much information going on in our world that if we just focus on that one moment, that one conversation, that one interaction, like if you can just live off that power of one, your life will change forever. And
that's so true.
I'm testament to that with my business. Like it has changed my life forever due to the power of having one conversation. But the real kicker is that one conversation with someone that is completely different from you.
Interesting.
Like we're always surrounded by our own people all the time. Our own
siloed.
I wish I was surrounded by more of my people.
The people that look like us, the people that are us, the people that are, they're great. But real learning takes place when you have those eggshell conversations with people that are completely different from you.
So true. Yeah. And again, asking questions, being curious, and not being hung up on who they are or what they know versus what you know. I think if we could all just go into conversations thinking, what can I learn from this? What can I give in this conversation? Again, it would just be so much more interesting than just waiting for them to finish so you can speak. You can speak now. I've finished, by the way.
And not even just conversations. Like the other day, I was going to the toilet, which I do quite a lot, as Laura knows. And I saw an older lady, and she was wearing this amazing yellow dress. She looks so good. What?
You saw a lady while you were sat on the toilet?
No. I went to the toilet. I was on my way to the toilet, not my toilet, a pub toilet. Let me be clear. A pub. There was an old lady in my toilet. I was like, what are you doing here? Yeah.
And so I keep the door open.
And I was like, can you help me? Yeah. Okay. So I was on my way to a pub toilet. Let me be very clear about this. And there was an older lady. She was in a yellow dress. She looked amazing. And I just said, look, I'm really sorry. Excuse me, but you look so amazing today. Like, I'm just telling you, you look fantastic. And then just kept walking. And her whole face just completely lit up. And this thing, like I'm always complimenting people, and it really fucking shits me that people don't give compliments. Like that just really shits me. And it's not even a conversation. It's just a thing. Like you notice something cool. Someone's wearing something that look amazing. I've done it in the dentist a million times. What else am I going to do? I'm freaking out. But, like just say it, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's there, you see it, it perks your interest, you keep your curiosity, you look, you go, wow, that person looks amazing, or wow, I really love this, or wow, I really love that. Well, then just comment on it, man. And I don't mean Facebook comment, guys. I mean, like, say something, all right?
I like what you're doing. I'm giving a thumbs up, by the way. And I think that actually it's lovely to do it to strangers as well, but I think we become really complacent with our loved ones, and we just take for granted. I notice I'm quick to tell my husband something if he's pissing me off. But I think he's doing a really good job in his businesses and everything. But I'll all of a sudden go, oh my God, I haven't actually said that to him at all. And then I'll have to purposely go and do it. Whereas I would like to build the habit to just little things on the fly, go, oh, that was good, rather than, oh, you're so annoying.
I think it comes back to look up though, doesn't it? If you're going back to that look up, it's kind of like just take that second and just go, wow, what's amazing about this person?
It's such a great conversation.
So many dirty things went into my mind.
That's such a great conversation starter in every walk of life, you know. You compliment someone on something. You know, you walked into this room today and your presence was amazing. I just felt like I had, you know, like you don't, not always the come on thing, but you know, like it's one of those sort of things where, you know, those simple acknowledgements do go a long way. And you know, it's one of the things why, you know, most of the time when I introducing to someone else, I don't go, hi, how are you? It's such a blockage question. I'd love to hear your story. Tell us a little bit about you, you know, like and share something, because people like talking about themselves most of the time.
Too much.
You know, it opens up the door for them wanting to connect with you as well by just having that authentic and real. Just want to know your story. I don't want to, you know, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, can I ask you a question off the back of that, guys? So you know how I've got the shits because people don't compliment or whatever. Do you think it's because some people feel like it will sound disingenuous? You know what I mean? Like I think, you know, 'cause it's got to be true. Like, I'm not saying just go out and make up bullshit about people and just like blow shit up their ass or smoke up their ass.
Blow shit up their ass.
Yeah, no, that's not the right one, is it? Shit. It's not shit. It's smoke. It starts with an S though, I know that.
Especially when you're in a cubicle with the door open and they're yelling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, would you mind just blowing shit up my ass? Okay, so no, it's going crazy now. Okay, so bring it back. So do you think it's to do with that people will think, oh, I look stupid, or I can't say that, or, you know, like, what is that? Why are people holding back the nice shit?
Because we're not seeing it. We can't like it easily. It takes courage. Okay. It takes a moment of, you know, 5 seconds of courage to do it. But it becomes, you do it a few times and you do it often, and it becomes a muscle. Everything that we're talking about is a muscle.
Yes.
You know, everything that we do is a muscle. Our conversations are a muscle. If we're not having enough, we become shit at it.
Yeah, 100%.
It is. Or if we're distracting away from conversation, anything, like anything. You driving a car, if you didn't do it for 5 years, that first time behind the wheel is going to be scary again, because everything is a muscle. We're so used to repetition in our world that as soon as we don't start doing something, or if we get moved into another area like technology, we lose that muscle and that ability to connect. But what you're saying around less people do it is because, you know, I don't think it's. I think we see it. I think we see that person looks great. But we just don't say it.
We just don't say it.
Say it, man.
It's a courage and confidence thing.
And also the thing that does really piss me off is if you compliment someone and they're like, oh my God, you look really good too. And it's like, no, I don't give me that. Or I and this is the thing I've had to learn, and I think for a lot of, I don't know, you can tell us, Cookie, if it's for men too, but definitely women, is we can't take the compliment.
Yes, it's the same with men.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. So I hate, like, when people say compliment, I try and change the subject for some reason.
No, Cookie.
Don't do that.
Make the change now. And let me tell you, it feels very awkward, but I've started to do that and just go, thank you so much. Don't give an excuse as to why I have a nice background. So thank you. And then I don't compliment them back, because for me that feels disingenuous. I want it to happen naturally. But you can feel like a slight air of awkwardness in the room when you just go, thank you.
Yeah.
You can go now. But again, you're right. It's a habit that you have to build.
Yes.
And one of the things I wanted to say when you were saying that, again, I don't want to bang on about my marriage all the time, but I'm going to.
Yes, you do. Just be honest.
Is one of the things. So we went to see a marriage counsellor a few months ago now. And one of the things he got us to do was every night tell each other one thing that we've done that day that we appreciate, or one thing about each other that we appreciate. And to start with, it felt really kind of icky. But I can't say we felt so much closer almost immediately from the first night, because we were connecting at that deeper level and we were articulating those things. Otherwise, we're just bouncing around all the time going, I don't know, do they appreciate what I'm doing? Do they actually, love me or whatever? But just that one simple act of every night saying, I appreciate you because of this, like completely changed the energy and the dynamic between us. Simple stuff, right? Yeah.
And like I think like that, even that moment that you've just said then just triggered for me that I need to do that more often with my wife as well. Like we don't those close connections we need to nourish, because there was I can't remember who said it to me in Cuppa, but there's someone said we can be connected to someone over the other side of the world because we have great conversations, but we can be disconnected to the person that we're sitting across the couch with.
100%.
And, they're the ones that we need to be more nurtured and our relationships stronger, because that's fundamentally a lot of our foundation is built upon our home environment. And when other complexities come in, and Laura, you're going to see this as well, when kids come in and all these other aspects. There's so many other things around. Just taking that little moment every night though is something that every one of us can do. Love it.
100%.
Yeah, that's another takeaway for everybody. Do it.
Yeah. You need to start putting these on your takeaway menu behind you instead of milk mini, milk small.
She's really upset about the almond milk thing, man. I mean, she's still going on about. Look, can I ask a question? This is a big question for both of you. I'm going to ask it so I don't have to answer it. Okay. So, so here's a big question. Are we more alone and feel alone in business now than we ever did?
Yeah.
I agree.
So it's a yes?
Yeah.
Big question, small answer.
I do think so, because there's just so many more pressures around everything. I think not the same small business owner it's never been easy, but there's I do think they're alone a lot more.
And do you know what? Sorry, carry on. I was
just going to say, like, whilst we've never been more connected, we've also never been more disconnected.
100%. And that's what I was just going to say. I think we have a lot of tools and resources around us for it to not be that way. But then we have to have our foot in this other camp to make sure that we're leveraging them properly. So, for example, turning up authentically when we are in a community and talking to people, allowing a bit of, I hate the word vulnerability, by the way. Do you know why? Because I was coaching some young girls, and I was talking about them being more vulnerable, and all of them had a really negative reaction to it. So I was like, I'm just going to look up the definition of vulnerability. And vulnerability, the definition is something around being in danger. And that's what they were all saying. So I was like, do you know what? Stuff that. You've got already associations with that word. We don't want you to feel in danger. We actually want you to feel safe so that you can open up. So we actually just started talking about it more around being authentic, because once you're authentic, that's when you can open the doorway for connections. I've got no idea why I started saying that.
It's because you haven't had your almond milk.
Where was I going with that? I've got absolutely no idea.
No, because you're going off the back of loneliness and
the loneliness. Yeah. So I think we have everything we need around us to not be lonely. We just have to leverage it properly and be prepared to be authentic so we can actually open up and let people in. Not everyone, even a couple of people is fine, but we're never going to truly connect unless we're prepared to be our authentic selves and let people see that.
Boom. Yeah. I was only going to add, the one part I was going to add to it is the information overload that we are all experiencing. And especially as business owners, we've got so much information that we've got coming to us constantly that, again, we'll bring it back. We're just got to learn to look up more and maybe set some better boundaries around what we take in.
Yeah.
and consume, because you can't, the days that we can maybe start getting rid of some of these information, like, I know plenty of people that are getting rid of social media because it's just too all consuming. Like, they might still have an alias as a poster, like to do posts for their own business, but they're shutting their own personal account down. So they're not consumed by other things. And, we have to start thinking about that area of what we're actually taking in and how do we give ourselves more space to go back to why we're here, and that is to have better connections and relationships.
Yeah, 100%. And I think remembering exactly what you just said, Cookie, remembering why are we here, what's fundamentally important to us, we can use that as our guide to technology. What technology is appropriate at any given moment, how much is appropriate at any given moment. We can always come back to those questions. What's important to me? What am I ultimately striving for? And therefore, what can I utilize to help me get that, or what can I let go of to help me get that as well?
Yeah. And I think, it's probably important to just ask yourself on your deathbed, are you going to be like worrying about that viral cat video, or are you going to be worrying about like the people that are close to you?
Although I have to tell you, on my birth bed, my labor bed, whatever the heck you call it, I am intending on utilizing technology a lot. So I'm going to have.
Can I tell you what not to bring with you?
Yes, please.
Cards, because you're not going to be fucking playing Uno.
Okay. Do you know my biggest question?
Hang on. Was this suggested? Did you do this? Did you bring cards to your wife's birthday? I just got to know.
I didn't. My wife did. And when we got into that labour room, there was no fucking I'm telling you.
They were in your face.
There's like, if I would have pulled out the cards, they would have been chucked at me, and not as bad as that, but it's don't take in cards.
No, okay, I won't. But I do fully intend to have my favorite stand-up comedy in the background on my laptop, because that chills me out. I do fully intend to be playing music. I'm not sure what else I'll be doing, but technology is gonna help me in that situation.
Mateo wants you to take the disco lights in, so that'll be...
Yeah, Mateo's talking about disco lights because they told us to set up a nice environment. So honestly, the people at Gosford Hospital are not going to know what's hit them when we rock up.
Subwoofer, like bringing
exactly.
They're rocking in with the DJ box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. I feel like we've reached a point where we should probably summarize. How do you guys feel about that?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I'm taking from this, and then you guys can add things. So for me, it is about how we need to understand how to utilize technology, how to live in harmony with technology rather than it controlling us, how we can take control of it. And the way we can do that is by keeping our foot in the world of connection and the world of realness. And we can do that by taking these micro moments to look up, to appreciate what's around us, to appreciate the people that are around us and articulate that, and really setting the boundaries around being authentic and having authentic moments with the people that matter, and staying true to what is important to us fundamentally and what we really want, and then deciding how to utilize the technological world according to that, rather than what we should be doing and what everyone else is doing.
Love it. Do you want me to go?
Go for it. Go, Cookie.
I think, again, when we're having these sort of conversations, little micro bulbs moments come up that you realise that you need to be better at it yourself. And from our conversation today, those little words of thanks and those little words of acknowledgement, and especially being there for other business owners as well, and just giving them the encouragement to keep on going. So that power of connection by doing little moments of thanks and joy and gratitude, not only to the business owners, but also those most important to you, the ones you love.
And to ourselves as well, because we're so hard on ourselves, aren't we? Like, well, I appreciate you for, being awesome again today. Whatever it is. But yeah, I think all of the above. I love that.
Yeah.
Lindsay,
I mean, you guys have just summed up pretty much everything. The thing I'm taking away is probably look up. I think I'll be taking away
I love
from that.
Yeah.
Because it's simple, it's easy, it's something that, I can remember in between Poirot episodes. Definitely look up. Also, I am the kind of person who compliments a lot, so that's fine, but I want to be more aware of doing those little stealth kind of hit and run kind of just little essays to people, because I used to do that. I was a musician in my former life, and I used to send other musicians, I think you're amazing. This is what I love about the way you play. This is what I love about the way, just every now and then. And they would just be like, what the fuck? But it really, like, I used to do that a lot more, and I don't do it so much now. So I think that's definitely something. And of course, appreciating Luke, my husband, more, and telling him that, because it is one thing to go, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. But that's kind of like the default, I love you, but why?
Yeah.
You
know what I mean?
Coming back to the one thing, like Cookie said, so what's, one time you can look up, what's the one micro moment you can make use of, what's the one conversation that you can have today, what's the one thing you can say to someone else to let them know that they're appreciated. Like, ain't nobody got time for more than one thing in a day. So just focusing on those one little thing over time will accumulate to a lot.
Yes. And always remember, you are not alone. We are here with you. Though you're far away. I don't know the other words.
Very good, though. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
You have like an intro theme song that you do. You should do like a new theme song you should just around the topic area.
That's it.
Every show with some music. Is that what you do?
No.
Sometimes.
Well,
when we used to jam, we used to end with what did we used to end with? Gospel.
I will say, just take a moment to look up, baby. Yeah. So something like that. We used to. Yeah.
I think we should go.
Look up. Just look up. That's it. That was just look up, guys.
I've had so much fun, Lindsay. Just enjoy, pooing.
I just realised we haven't actually asked you where people can find you. And
where can people find you?
We're such bad hosts. Can you please tell people where they can find you, where they can find Cuppa?
Yeah. Do it now.
You can just find me. Yeah, don't worry about it. People will find me.
No! Don't you hide your light under a bushel, you awesome, beautiful man. You just do it now. Do it. Yeah.
Well, the website, if you want to engage in conversations that are actually going to, I call it the binge watching that actually improves your life, not takes it away. It is that content that is good. It's cuppa.tv. Check it out. Check out all the great shows that we have there. And if you want to find me, LinkedIn is best. Luke Cook, the bloke from cuppa.tv, and connect there. I'd love to build more connections.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm so glad I didn't forget that. Okay. Thank you very much for being here. This has been one of my favorite conversations, although to other guests, don't take that in a bad way. I really appreciated you too. I'll let you know how I appreciate you individually. Thank you for taking the time. And let's go and do one thing and look up, shall we?
Look out.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
You've been listening to Banterpreneurs. If you have a question for us to answer on the show, submit it on our website at banterpeneurs.com. And if you liked what you heard, give us a review and share the love with a fellow business mate. See you next week for more solopreneur shenanigans.